The two Kenyan pilots held in South Sudan by the country's rebel group SPLM in opposition arrived back in Kenya this afternoon following their release from a month-long captivity. They were freed after the insurance company that insured the plane paid 11 million Kenya shillings as compensation for the family of the civilian and 11 cows killed when the plane crashed. Chris Tairo begins our coverage tonight.
Plane carrying the two Kenyan pilots that had been captured by the Sudan People's Liberation Movement, IO, opposition touched down at the Wilson Airport Tuesday afternoon. At hand to receive them were family members and the Foreign Affairs Cabinet Secretary Monica Juma. And when the pilots touched the Kenyan soil, there were tears of joy as they hugged their family members, whom they last saw in the beginning of January. A frail-looking Captain Joroge took his family into his arms, happy to be home. His co-pilot Kennedy Shamala seemed overwhelmed with joy to reunite with his family members after 5 weeks in captivity. The SPLM opposition rebels that demanded 20 million shillings as compensation for the death of a woman and 11 cows after the plane crash. However, the insurance paid 11 million shillings for them to be freed.
The government of the Republic of Kenya deplores what is clearly an unfriendly and inhuman response by SPLA-IO to what was an unfortunate accident, because we know accidents occur. We condemn the capture and the detention of the Kenyan pilots in the strongest possible terms.
All the money was paid by UAP for the compensation of the pilots.
How much?
It was $107,000, 743.
The two pilots were rushed to hospital for medical checkup before being allowed to go home with their families.
We've been waiting for this day, and we are so grateful, we are so happy, we are so relieved. The stories are stress, a lot of stress, but now we thank God.
It's the toughest experience. I wouldn't want anyone to go through what I went through. The calls here, back at home, everyone wants to know the updates. Myself, I don't know when they'll come back. The kids want answers.
The plane was said to have suffered a technical hitch a few minutes after takeoff in the Akobo rebel-held region near South Sudan's border with Ethiopia. The Kenyan-owned plane was taking aid workers to the area to carry out an assessment on the food crisis in the area when it crashed.
Let me once again take this opportunity to advise Kenyans that are traveling abroad to exercise extreme caution, especially if you're going to countries that are unstable and that are experiencing an unrest.
Thousands of people have died and thousands more displaced as a result of a war that broke out between forces allied to President Salva Kiir and his former Vice President Riek Machar, who fled into exile in July 2016 when they failed to reconcile leadership wrangles. Last year in December, 4 Kenyans jailed for life in South Sudan for allegedly defrauding Juba government were finally set free following negotiations between the Southern Sudan government and the Kenyan government, a situation that had threatened to degenerate into a diplomatic standoff. Chris Tairo, KTN News.